Good day guys, welcome to week 4 update on my Let's Play world. So I'm here in my super loud villager trading hall prison thing that still needs a roof, but we're not going to work on that today. I've got plans to work on outside. I want to get a lot more end stone and get started on making life a bit easier for myself so that the mobs aren't attacking me. So talking about walls, talking about being safe inside, so let's head on out. So I decided that I was just gonna see what I could do digging straight until I hit some lava, and then I'd turn right and see if I could get some sort of spiral going, but that didn't really work when I ended up just sort of crossing myself again. So I ended up going on a bit of an adventure, which with replay mod you can sort of see that I pass under a bastion and stuff, which I had absolutely no idea, but it kind of worked. I picked up a decent amount of ancient debris, but I just started to only get quartz, only get gold, so I figured I'd just head back, and once I hit the other branches that I'd dug down, then I just go into branch mining, keeping it simple. I did bring with me 10 TNT. That's generally what I've had the most success with when doing my ancient debris mining, and so there I was just putting it down. I got another, I think, 3 or 4 bits, but not super great when you're only doing like 10 paces. So, and I just don't have a gunpowder farm yet, so figured branch mining was the way to go, and that's how I was going to finish off. Okay, quite a successful digging down in the nether, and if we bring out our shulker box, we've got half a stack of ancient debris, which is pretty good. If my maths is right, that should get us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's all of our tools and armor upgraded to netherite. I definitely need to make another trip back because I want to get all my chest plates and work towards getting my spares and everything all netherite as well. Not to mention, I kind of want to give this guy down here, where is he? There he is. I want to give him a netherite axe rather than just a diamond one, just because like he is kind of the executioner, so I want him to look a bit more official with a real dark axe rather than a normal one that's not particularly dark, because blue doesn't exactly look realistic. I mean, none of this looks too realistic, but I want it to look kind of realistic. Okay, I'm gonna do a bunch more building now. So I've got a design for a gatehouse, which is gonna sit right about here. Maybe I want to move it over. I don't know. We'll have to have a look, but we'll get that designed, and first we're going to need to get a whole lot more end stone. I really am enjoying using end stone as a building material. It's something that I haven't done before. I've never been much of a builder per se. I've usually been more focused on the redstone side of things. So getting into using a proper, I guess, build palette, and rather than just sort of building the redstone and something else to cover that up, has been quite fun. And endstone has, I think, made a very reliable palette to somewhat replicate what the Freo prison was built, because it was built out of limestone that they mined on site, which is kind of cool, kind of sad when you think about these blokes were building their own prison on the site that they were getting all the resources, which couldn't have been easy work back in like the 1850s, so quite a while ago. But you got to hand it to them. But the buildings actually do look quite cool, as simple as they are. So, like it's quite, I find quite cool. But I really want to work out how I can detail things a bit better, because when you're talking about convicts in the 1800s building a prison out of rock that they've mined on site, the buildings aren't the most complicated of structures, and I do want to improve my build skills, so doing a bit of work, trying to not so much make it look exactly the same, I think is something that I do want to work towards, and just trying to make the structures look a little bit more interesting rather than just blocks of limestone, which they sort of look like at the moment. Backtracking on that a little bit, I decided that I wanted to replicate the actual gatehouse from the Freo prison, which is what you see me doing here. I want to design sort of an approach and everything, which we'll look at in a little while once I finish the build. The gatehouse itself is probably one of the most castle-looking structures in Western Australia. It's like we haven't been around for a long time, so I personally think it looks kind of cool. And as an entryway, I quite like how it does like bring us in. And you can see I sort of messed up my build a little bit. I had designed it and then sort of trying to replicate it again, and I confused myself a little bit, so I had to move both towers on either side a little bit before it actually looked quite right. I had a little bit of trouble with there's a clock on it, and I really want to make sure it's a illuminated item frame, but I couldn't get the armor stand book to make the glowing item frame invisible, so I'm gonna have to have a look back at that. So I end up leaving it just with a regular one after fiddling around a little bit. But I think they're quite cool looking structure, the gatehouse, and I definitely think I'll put some villages or something into there once I just work out what to do, and I'll leave the front as quite a reliable rendition of what the actual one looks like. And then because it actually is quite a bit of a complex in itself, the gatehouse, where obviously you've got multiple gate levels to prevent people trying to sneak in and out rather than just a single gate. So how I actually use this structure I haven't quite worked out yet, but I think I'll be able to use it for something. I just need to work out what. And there's a few things that I have planned for this area, but it's outside of the direct villager trading stuff that I'm not entirely sure where I want to go, because I don't want to do too many things twice. I want to do most of the farms and stuff that I do once, rather than building duplicates in multiple places, which for a small farm wouldn't matter too much, but the more complicated ones, I just can't really be bothered. But then you can see, so I've got half the wall in. I realized that it doesn't have the same lime sort of mortar, so I replaced with some sandstone and got a bit of a wall coming off now on either side. Okay, miserable weather, which is actually quite appropriate because it's pretty bad outside at the moment. But here we go. We've got our gatehouse with our clock on top, which works, so that's pretty cool. I've got a friend as well that I'm slowly trying to get rid of the arrows from. But yeah, we got a little bit of work to do out the front and down in this area. I've got a few. I think this is going to be a lot more interesting area than what's actually inside. But I'm happy with the gatehouse. It looks how I wanted it to, but the wall is I'm not too sure about. And I guess this is going to come to how correct I guess I want to be against what's actually there. Because the wall itself is quite simple. It's just a limestone wall, similar to the buildings. It's got the lime sort of render that is just sort of on the bottom. I don't know whether that's just because there's another one of our friends. Whether that's something that is just it's only been maintained up to a certain area, or yeah, I'm not too sure. But it's very plain, so I think that's something that I might actually go for a redesign, because I do want these pillagers actually running around on top of the walls. As you can see, it's not quite. If we go through and say hello to our friend, the actual gatehouse itself isn't really built. And I'm not too sure how I'm going to do this, just with how close I have actually built it to this cell block. And with this cell block probably extending out at least this far as well. Thank you. I've got some iron rails in, because these guys should be able to stay and be stuck up here. That's what I want to do. I don't want them wandering around, but that's something we'll work towards. So finally this week I wanted to start to get my automated farms going. So I put in, as you can see, a few plots which I'm just leveling out, and what they're going to be is for farmers. So I want to have a pretty simple method of getting food, golden carrots, which I will do here. It's villager trading, and that's what this starter base is all about. I guess this, once I move away, it's I guess more going to be my villager hub. But having quick, easy ways to get emeralds straight into golden carrots will be really good. So doing some zombification and curing, and having all of the items on hand to get all the emeralds really quickly, so that I can top up on golden carrots whenever I need. So I figured I'd do 4 plots, which you can see there's one down the bottom on the right, and then working our way up towards the left. And that way I can do 1 plot for, or 2 plots for carrots, 2 plots for potatoes, and use the good old villager mechanic where the farmer farms and tries to throw it to his friend through some hopper minecarts. Freo Prison doesn't have any farm plots. They've got some gardens. I think they used to grow some vegetables there, but it wasn't any proper farming space, so to speak. But what really made me think of putting this all in is they've got a whole bunch of tunnels underground which were built to provide water. So what I figured is it would be actually quite cool to have some water streams underneath the prison, designed to, well, my prison, designed to carry around stuff to where I need it to. And so at the moment I end up going through and putting them inside of the wall, hiding them in that little middle section, with it being 3 wide. But who knows, maybe I'll end up changing it later into something, depending on where I actually map out where my farmer villagers are gonna be living, that I'm gonna trade with. The only other farm really that I currently have planned is I want to get a sort of quarry design, just following along that lines that Freo Prison was built from stone that they dug out on site. So I having a whole bunch of masons, which I've got up in my villager cell block, and getting them to trade all the different colors of terracotta, I think is something else that I'll set up here. Maybe next week, maybe later, we'll see. But I got through pretty easily getting everything set up that I was pretty happy with for the 4 plots of land. And then the next step was getting villagers in, which is always not easy, but if you get them following workstations, it's actually not too bad. The hardest part I got was the last villager, trying to sort of get him to walk into the wall and stay there for me to get everything set up in front of him, so that he was stuck, and the mine carts were there ready to collect all of the carrots. And here we are, we've got 4 farms in with 8 villagers around. Let's see if we got one over there, he's facing his mate, hiding under his little grass roof, and apparently not doing a very good job of harvesting my carrots. And then we've got potatoes down here, same again, he's talking to his mate, or trying to. Same over here as well with the carrots again, he's doing a bit better job. Maybe this is just too large an area, I don't know, maybe we'll have to shrink that down a little. And this guy's facing the wrong way. Your friend's over there. What are you doing? Not really sure what is going on, but okay. And as you can see, we've actually got these feeding down. There's droppers so that it spits the items up into the water streams, which run along. I need to put in the outside of the wall now. Come back up and down into here. So I haven't got anywhere set up for where I want all of this to go. Am I losing items? But there we go. We're slowly now actually getting produce, which is good, and I've got villages set up, ready to go to execution, and ready to go to a new home. I do want to get I feel like I should get these down to 1 emerald each, but then I kind of feel like then I've got far too much emeralds. But whatever, we'll work it out as we go. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you got any feedback on stuff, for instance, why I haven't got any dripstone, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode, this update. If you've got any ideas, feel free to shout out, leave a comment, and if you like what I'm doing, feel free to say or give it a like. I'm interested to know if people think this is actually interesting as I think it is. But I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.